Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank
Hello,
you.
good morning.
Hi, good morning. Nice to see you all. So,
How are you?
today we are here for our webinar session on occupational health and safety, as you all know. And my name is Anjali Johnny, working as operations manager and trainer at Aspire Training Research Consulting. And I'm very glad to have you all of you here for this wonderful session. So I'm expecting all of you to attend the whole session. And as you already received through your message, like there is some terms and conditions like the usage of camera and mic. So I'm requesting all of you to switch on your camera throughout the session, as well as the mic. Whenever you want to speak or you want to ask some question or something, you can unmute the mic. Otherwise, please mute your mic. Then there will be an attendance QR code will be shared at the end of the session. So you have to participate at end of the session. So this QR code is for tracking the attendance. So you need to give here all the details. Then only we can prepare our certificates. Then you will get the certificates after the training session. Like it will take 2 to 4 days. So please make sure that you are submitting that QR code as well as the feedback regarding our training session. Okay. So once again, thank you all. And this training session will be taken by our training GM. His name is Mr. Aravindan, and he is having 25 years of experience in construction, oil and gas industry as an occupational health and safety professional. And he is also a qualified professional for delivering trainings in OSHA, IOSH, and NEBOSH, and also qualified professional. And he is having a diploma in industrial safety. Okay, so that's all about ourselves. Then thank you all. I'm handing over to Aravindan sir. Sir.
Good morning, please. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Clearly audible.
Okay, all of you. You are audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, audible.
Okay. Friends, you are welcome on the auspicious of Aspire Training Research and Consultants. Now we are going to deliver a webinar on OSH matter or subject. And prior to that, my name is Aravindan, and I have 25 years experience in construction as well as oil and gas industry. I am a trained professional for OSHA, IOSH, NEBOSH, and diploma in industrial safety. This is all about me. And let me introduce our organization. The name of organization is Aspire Training Research Consulting. Our head office is in Dubai. Simultaneously, we have running offices in UAE, Maldives, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Sri Lanka, and Oman. In India, actually, the regional office is located in Cochin, Ernakulam. Can you see the screen well?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Screen is visible?
Yeah, screen
Okay,
is
thank
visible.
you. And okay, this address, see, Cochin office is our regional office, and that is based in Kalamassery, and Bangalore is another office, and Chennai also we are running parallelly. Okay, we are providing training on quality management, environment management, health and safety, food safety, hazard analysis and critical control point, then hygiene, risk assessment, process performance, soft skill, internal auditor, and lead auditor programs. Actually, we are very strong, and Aspire is very sound in this area. We are we have dedicated and experienced faculties to handle all these areas. Okay. Come to OSH matter, occupational health and safety matter. See, my request is, please be with me till the end of the session, because as a safety professional, or you are going to be work as a safety officer in any industry, we are going to share vital and important information about safety aspects. This syllabus, this module is actually framed in such a way how IOSH is setting their syllabus, and whatever I'm going to explain here, this is very much aligned with the syllabus of IOSH. And so, if you are not qualified in IOSH or NABOSH, this will be very useful for you. And so, once again, I am requesting you, please concentrate in this webinar throughout the session till the end of the session, and you will be getting a feedback session at the end of this webinar, and I'll try to clarify your doubts. Then first one is, what are the 3 reasons for managing safety? This is usual question asking frequently for IOSH and NABOSH. See, these are actually this is moral, legal, and financial. These are 3 reasons. But see, I am going to explain all these facts with the help of some examples. These examples means examples are correlated with different incidents happens with different organization or different company in the world. That means if I explain all these matters with the help of an example, it will be more understanding for you. As well as if I am quoting an example, definitely it will keep in your memory, so that it is very useful for you for your coming examination and coming safety courses. Then I'm going to explain about moral aspects. See, I'll give you a very good example. You might have heard about Bhopal gas disaster. It is the world's worst industrial disaster ever seen. That incident happened during the year 1984, December 2nd. And it is happened in the Union Carbide India Limited, a pesticide plant. There actually happened the leakage of methyl isocyanate, the poisonous gas. And so the estimated death toll was 16,000 people. Then half million of people exposed to the poisonous gas MIC, methyl isocyanate. Then estimated that immediate death toll was 3,787. And so the Supreme Court of India itself take this is a very big disaster, and they moved the court, and so finally Union Carbide paid a huge penalty of the total penalty paid 1,555 INR, means it is in crores. 1,515 crores of Indian rupees paid by Union Carbide Union Carbide industry to the public. And at the same time, simultaneously, Union Carbide Limited paid 430 crores of rupees to the government of India. It is for the preservation and maintenance of the environment. See, colleague, I'm sorry, my friend, this is the best example for the moral commitment. In simply, we can say that each industry or each government is morally committed to their workforce. Or while we are thinking about a nation, morally they are committed the protection of their citizen in terms of health and safety. Similarly, the conservation of or the protection of the environment. This is the best example because the Union Carbide Limited failed to comply with the formalities or failed to comply with the health and safety norms, so that and finally they paid this much amount of compensation. This is the best example for moral commitment of a company or a government or a nation. And second one is legal aspects. Each company or each government is legally bound to their citizen to protect their health and safety. Similarly, protection of the environment, so that each country is formulating a bunch of a cluster of rules. It is applicable for all industries. Here I am giving you some finger counted examples of rules and rules. That is the Mine Act 1952. This is very much applicable in mine setup. And second one is the Contract Labor Regulation and Abolition Act 1970. This is applicable for all industries which is running in India. And third one is sales promotion, the Sales Promotion and Employees Condition and Condition of Service Rule 1976. And fourth one is the Shops and Establishment Act. This is also very widely used in India. And fifth one is Constitution. Constitution means not only in India, it is applicable in world. Then Indian Motor Vehicle Act, then CRPC. This is Criminal Procedure Code. Very recently in India, the name of CRPC has been changed, and that is it is reset the CRPC. And next one is Environment Protection Act. And ninth one is Public Liability Insurance Act. And last one is Building Operators and Construction Workers Act 1998. See, Bhopal, I have already mentioned about Bhopal gas tragedy. There, Indian Constitution as well as Environment Protection Act. Then third one is Public Liability Insurance Act. These three set of means first one is Indian Constitution, and second one is Environment Protection Act, and third one is Public Insurance Act. These applied in the case of Union Carbide factory for the purpose of compensating the victims. In Union Carbide factory, actually the victims were more than 5 lakhs, and almost all the victims have compensated with the amount that is levied for that is the money received from Union Carbide factory. And I'm telling you that still that case is going on for the compensation purpose. And this is the best example for legal requirement. And third one is financial impact or financial aspect. That is, while we are thinking about financial aspects, there are two types of costs, that is direct cost and indirect cost. Here I shall give you another very good example. See, this is very much like an iceberg. See, everyone knows that if you put a ball of ice in water, we can see certain portion of an iceberg, and some of the portion of that ice cube or ice cube is naturally it is sink in the water, and so then above the water surface we can see in certain portion of iceberg. Understand? And this is very good example to determine or understand what are the direct cost and what are the indirect cost. And when we are dealing with means when we are refer the safety manuals or safety related references, we can see the hidden expenses or hidden costs. Hidden cost, that means that is indirect cost. Here, direct cost. See, suppose in my experience in my last industry, a worker was engaged in a flyover construction. That flyover actually we built in a 6-lane highway. A worker had fell from a height of 6 meters and sustained injury. This is the scenario I'm giving you. And see, then look for what are the direct costs. Obviously, we have taken that employee to the hospital, that is medical cost. And compensation payment to that worker. That worker had sustained serious injury. And so company, this is a legal requirement. I already mentioned to you that this is a legal requirement. And so the company paid the compensation, certain amount as compensation. These are come under direct cost. Medical cost and compensation amount. These are direct costs. See, again, when we are analyze what are the indirect costs. See, that person had sustained injury, and so we want to replace another employee or another worker. So the cost which is required for the process of replacing that employee, that is replacing employee, that is the charges required to replace that employee, it is come under hidden charges or indirect cost. Then another one is investigation time. This is also a very good point you to remember. And what is the purpose of investigation? This is also a frequently asking question both for NABOSH and IOSH. Why we are investigating each and every incident? The answer is, see, we want to find out what is the exact reason of that incident, or we want to find out what is the root cause of that incident. And why we are looking for this, why we are searching, what is the purpose of finding this root cause of this incident? Again, another question. This is for the purpose of to establish control measures to avoid reoccurrence of the same kind of incident. Understand? See, we want to investigate each and every incident. This is also a legal requirement. And purpose of investigation is we want to find what is the exact reason or root cause of the incident. What is the purpose of root cause to understand the exact root cause? It is to prevent repetition of the same incident in future. Understand? So Obviously, the company, every organization need to conduct investigation process, and so naturally there are so many parties will come in that investigation team, general manager or project managers or construction managers, then the safety professionals, then workers, supervisors. All these team naturally spending certain time for investigation process. So that here mentioned investigation time. Actually here time is converted as money or cost. Understand? Time is converted into money, so that here mentioned investigation time. And another one is supervision time. See, suppose if we are taking that patient in a hospital, definitely we want to give somebody for assisting him, or somebody there for carrying out other activities. There also we want to consider. Actually, company or organization is losing money because these people are actually keeping away from workplace. These factors also need to be considered, so that generally we can say that supervision time and administrative time. For replacing of this guy, this means this worker, HR department need time. They want publishing in public medias and receiving their CVs, and again here HR team is moving for verifying their qualification, and if uh, a candidate is matched with our qualifications, then again move for interviews. Then see, there are so many processes in between the recruitment. So administrative time and administrative time, here also we are converting time into cost. Then training. See, we cannot send directly to carry out a work. Definitely, it is also a moral and uh, legal responsibility to provide them proper training, so that the cost which is required or cost incurred for the training, this is also come under indirect cost. Then possible patient injury, and another one is breakup work time. Then all other costs means getting ambulances, then the cost associated with, or if we want to serve some extra food, or we want to get some other materials for the treatment of that employee. These are come under all other costs and overtime paid. Suppose if a worker is keep away from site, that means we don't want to stop the work for a long period. So that naturally all companies are what they are doing is they are giving overtime paid to their fellow workers, and this is for the purpose of compensating their daily work task. And another one is staff morale. Staff morale is very, very important because I have already mentioned an incident. A worker, a newly recruited worker, he had fell from a height of 6-meter height when he was engaged in construction of a flyover. See, that time more than 150 workers were there, and so soon after the incident, I saw that all these workers came to the spot where happened that incident, and so they are all people are discussing about this incident and discussing about him, his family matter. That means actually all people are getting very sad, and so this is actually reflecting the production, or this is actually impacted the morale of the workforce. Understand? Okay. These are the summaries of direct cost and indirect cost. See, direct cost, medical cost, and compensation payment are come under direct cost. And in addition to that, all the expenses required for the means for replacement of that worker. Excuse me. ഇതല്ലേ Okay, sure. I'll give you more examples. The replacement of means replacement of employee, investigation time, supervision time, and the training which is important for that particular worker. Everything come under indirect cost. Excuse me.
Can you please repeat the patient? Can you repeat possible patient injury?
Possible injury means in construction industry, we cannot say what type of injury. Maybe injury when they are intervening with heavy earth moving machines, or injury may happen when they are dealing with small handheld equipments, or I think you might have some doubt about the story which or the incident which I explained to you. That means my company was engaged in the construction of a flyover. That time a worker had fell from a height of 6 meters and sustained injury. Sustained injury means there are so many backbone injury happened. There are so many injuries happened because it happened in another organization, though, so that I am not revealing everything right now. Okay. Thank you very much. Then next one is, what is hazard? Hazard is anything which has a potential to cause harm is hazard. This is the exact definition. This is a definite question for both NEBOSH, IOSH, and diploma in industrial safety. Everywhere, this is a definite question. What is the exact definition of hazard? Or what the definition of hazard is anything which has a potential to cause harm is hazard. Then I'll give you a best example, global example, to make you understand well. You might have heard about a Titanic incident. That ship wreckage that happened the year 1912, April 15th, that incident happened. See, Titanic ship was very luxurious ship, and when it started its maiden voyage from a port of Southampton, that means from England, and the final destination was New York City. In the first day of its journey, the owner of that ship, White Star Line Company, declared that this luxurious Titanic will not sink. Understand? They declared that much confident the company was. that much advanced technology used for the manufacture of the ship Titanic. But you know what happened? By the means after completion of 4 days journey in Atlantic through the Atlantic, the ship had collided with a very huge iceberg, a very huge ice hill, and so happened shipwreckage, and finally the ship Titanic had completely sank in north portion of Atlantic. This is the best example you to remember about hazard, because the captain of Titanic or the crews of Titanic were failed to identify the presence of a hazard. Here hazard is iceberg, a huge iceberg, or the crew members of Titanic were failed to identify the hazard associated in Atlantic. This is the best example for hazard. Okay. See, when we are refer hazard, there are different kind of hazard. The hazard has been categorized in different. That means mechanical hazard, physical hazard, chemical hazard, then environmental, biological, and organizational hazard. This is also a very good, very important question frequently asking what are the different type of hazards. Then I shall give you examples for each and a very different type of hazards. Mechanical hazard. See, you can see a picture here. See, somebody's hand has been trapped into rotating or moving wheel. Here, the hazard is moving or rotating wheel of an equipment or a machine. Rotating wheels exactly, we can say that moving wheel or rotating wheel without cover guard is hazard. And now what happened? The hand of an employee has been trapped into moving wheel. And so this is the best example for mechanical hazard. And second one is, this is a forklift operation is progressing in a company. And you can see a very large consignment having large volume. He is keeping on the fork of that equipment, and that equipment is moving, and it had collided with another worker who was in front of that consignment. And here the hazard is this, the consignment or this packet of item. The reason is this, due to this, the large volume of consignment, this operator was failed to identify the presence of an employee in front of him. And so that operation ends with an incident. Here, this is also an example for mechanical hazard. And third one is, this is a cutting machine. Cutting machine means a steel cutting machine. See, you please understand, as a safety professional, you please understand something about cutting machine. This is additional input. Of course, the questions related with the cutting machine will not ask Nebosh or Ayush, or sometimes they will ask what are the risk or what are the hazard associated with the cutting machine. Here, this wheel is rotating, and this RPM of the wheel is estimated around 30,000, means 3,000, I'm sorry, 3,000 to 6,000. The RPM is varying, depends upon the task which is going to undertake, or it is varying. Because if they want to cut a steel rod having a very big volume, then they will move for some other wheel having more capacity. Here, generally, we can say that the RPM of rotation or revolution per minute, RPM. That means that wheel is rotating around 3,000 time within the period of 1 minute. Similarly, this cutting wheel is used to cut steel material. Then you can imagine how much strong this wheel is. Here there are two aspects. This cutting wheel is very strong. It is used to cut steel. And second one is it is continuously revolving with high speed. That means 3,000 RPM per minute. Here, this machine has been well protected by means of a cover guard. We can see cover guard. Now we can say that this cutting wheel is absolutely safe. But you see, the fire due to the heavy operation of this small equipment, fire is emitting from this machine, and so this fire may be a reason to cause another incident, that is fire incident. Understand? And so the hazard, the mechanical hazard associated with this activity is fire. Now I explained 3 examples for mechanical hazard. First one is moving or rotating wheel without cover guard. This is hazard. And second one is a consignment of a load with large volume or its dimension is too much. And third one is hazard, means hazard fire is a hazard here. Okay. Then next one is physical hazard. See, these are the examples for physical hazard. That is, first one is sound, and second one is vibration, third one is collision with object, and confined space and entrapment. Next is electrocution. Second last one is asphyxia or lack of air, and the last one is radiation. These are come under physical hazard. See, I shall explain one by one. The sound pressure is actually, as per OSHA standard, the sound level in a workplace has been regulated as, or sound exposure limit in a workplace has been limited as 90 decibel per 8 hours. Time weight average is 90 decibel per 8 hours. This is the level of sound pressure in workplace. This is as per OSHA standard. But see, as per the standard of NIOSH, National Institution for Occupational Safety and Health, their set limit is 85 decibel for 8 hours. Generally, in every means in India and the foreign countries are also following this standard. That means the tolerable limit is 85 decibel for 85 decibel for 8 hours. And see, suppose if a worker is engaged with the different activities in a factory, and if the exposure limit of that factory exposure limit of sound in that factory is exceeding 90 decibel or 80 decibel for a long period of time, it will impact the hearing capacity of that worker or labor. And the risk associated with the long time exposure of sound is permanent loss of hearing. NIHL, noise induced hearing loss. NIHL. See, and next one is vibration. When a worker is engaged with the jackhammer operation, you might have seen it is the machine is always it is working like this, so that you know the machine is continuously jerking, and so automatically this jerking is causing the obstruction of, or the the free flow of blood circulation throughout his hand. And due to this obstruction of free flow of blood circulation, finally cause HAVS, hand-arm vibration syndrome, HAVS, hand-arms vibration symptom. Its symptom is, see, white hand injury. Or another one is tunnel carpal syndrome or carpal tunnel syndrome. Both way it is carpal tunnel syndrome means it is due to the obstruction of or free flow of blood to fingers. See, you can see this portion, the blood circulation has been obstructed, and so that will impact or that will affect the free movement of finger and also cause joint pains, shoulder pain and joint pain. This is best example for the vibration or physical hazard. So first one is sound pressure or noise. This is the example of physical hazard, and second one is vibration and during the course of operation of jackhammer, and third one is collision with object. Fourth one is confined space. I shall explain to you about confined space. There is a I'll give you a very good example for confined space and all the hazard associated with confined space in coming our slides. And the next is electrocution, that is electrocution happened with, or electric shock happened when intermingled with different electrical equipments. And another one is asphyxia, that means lack of air. This is also closely associated with confined space. I shall explain to you later. The last one is radiation. Radiation means radiation emitting from radioactive elements like uranium, thorium, plutonium, like that. These are the examples for physical hazards. And see, this is a picture. If self-explanatory about vibration, this is the consequence of continuous vibration. These are the control measures for physical hazards. These are the control measures for physical hazard. First one is job rotation. That means change the worker or substitute the worker frequently within a for example, for the first half hour or first 45 minutes, you please deploy worker X, and next 45 minutes, worker Y will replace him. This process is called work rotation process. And second one is health education. This is also a legal responsibility of the management to provide awareness about the awareness about the hazards associated with that particular equipment or particular mission, and also made aware them how all these activities are affecting their health. This is also a legal responsibility, this health education. Then third one is personal hygiene. This is also responsibility of the management to provide sufficient opportunity to maintain their personal hygiene. Then proper illumination or availability of proper light. Then personal protection. Here, personal protection means PPE is personal protective equipments like mask, then ear muff, then earplug, then hand gloves, then safety shoes, coverall, helmet. All these are come under PPE, personal protection. Then next is housekeeping, then periodic health checkup. In oil and gas sector, this is very compulsory for all workers, for all the employees working in oil and gas sector. They have to undertake, they have to undergo for personal checkup within a particular period. That is for assessing their health status, health condition. And third one is application of ergonomics. And third one is last one is maintenance of temperature. Ergonomics means a work situation that will not affect the health and safety, health condition of a worker. See, suppose if an IT professional very constantly he is sitting in a chair for more than 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 hours for an extensive period or long time, or an employee who is engaged in clerical work, usually he has to spend an extensive period on chair, so that the chair should be very much matched with the posture of his body. Otherwise, that will impact his health, that will affect his health. That means cause back pain, then what do you say, neck pain and other illness. Illness will cause after if not complied with the ergonomics status. And the last one is maintenance of temperature. Maximum avoid humid temperature. And these are the control measures. Then environment hazard. The physical hazard I already explained you. Then next is environment hazard. What are the environment hazard? This is also a FAQ for NEBOSH and IOSH and diploma course also. Diploma means diploma in industrial safety. I'm not talking about IDIP or NEBOSH IDIP or other kind of 6-level courses. This hazard associated with the environment hazard First one is oil spill, second one is water pollution, third one is deforestation, air pollution, and building of atmospheric carbon dioxide. These are the best example for environment disaster. Okay, oil spill. I shall give you a very good example. See, you can see this picture. This is a real photo taken from Gulf of Mexico. Gulf of, you might have aware about this environment disaster happened in Gulf of Mexico. A huge volume of oil or crude spilled from the oil well of British Petroleum, BP. BP oil spill in Gulf of Mexico. This is categorized or considered as the largest marine spill in the history of petroleum industry. Began 2010 April. And there 7.8 meter cube of oil discharged into sea. And after this incident, the BP Petroleum paid a huge amount of money as a compensation to the victim of this environment disaster. Billion of billion of marine inhabitants were died due to this oil disasters, oil spread, and as well as it was impacted the environment in a great extent. And finally, BP British Petroleum paid a huge amount of as compensation. This is also a very good example for legal requirement. And this is best example for water pollution. The source of water pollution is either factories or any other production units. And third one is air pollution. Air pollution, the source of air pollution is, or air contamination is household combustion devices, then industries and forest fire. Then see how does air pollution affect environment? This is also a FAQ. Or what are the consequences of air pollution? The climate change. Then second one is ozone depletion. Ozone depletion means ozone layer in the atmosphere is actually a protective layer. It is act as a very good protective layer in the atmosphere and which will prevent coming down of ultraviolet radiation, ultraviolet rays emitting from sun. This is a protective mechanism. And due to the excessive emission of carbon dioxide from different sources is ultimately impacted or damaged this ozone structure or ozone layer. And damage happened to that ozone layer or depletion happened this ozone layer. This ozone depletion, this is happening due to the excessive production of carbon dioxide in the air. And the area of depletion is around 20 to 30 million square kilometer. And day to day, so many research and study has been going on in respect of this ozone depletion. So many, means almost all countries are doing research and studying activities related with this ozone depletion. And so their latest finding is, due to this excessive production of carbon dioxide from different sources, there happened a depletion of 20 to 30 square kilometer in the ozone layer. And the area of depletion is very much the size of North America or Russia. And last one is acid rain. These are the effect or consequences of due to the excessive production of carbon dioxide, and consequently affect the environment. See, look back again. What are the environment hazard? First one is oil spill. I already explained about the incident of BP, British Petroleum, in Gulf of Mexico. A large volume of oil along with crude had spilled in Gulf of Mexico, and that adversely affected the environment. And finally, BP Petroleum paid penalties. Then water pollution, the source is manufacturers or factories. Then deforestation, you know very well about deforestation. There air pollution, then air pollution and the building of atmospheric carbon dioxide. I explained to you about the ozone depletion, and due to the excessive production of carbon dioxide, damage happened to ozone layer, and its size is also estimated around 20 to 30 square kilometers. Okay. Then next one is biological hazard. What are biological hazards? First one is human blood and blood products. Examples: hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV. These are the best examples for human blood and blood products. This is come under the category of biological hazard. Okay. The next is animal waste, E. coli and salmonella. The consequences of E. coli bacteria is gastrointestinal issues or gastrointestinal disorders. Then human body matter, that is HIV and hepatitis B. Then microbiological waste, that means the waste which is generating from microbiological lab. Example, discarded culture from microbiology lab and the specimen of infectious agents. These are the examples for microbiological waste. In the specimen of infectious agent and discarded culture from biological lab. And the second last is airborne pathogens, that is COVID-19. Everyone knows about COVID. What is COVID-19? Then SARS, the severe respiratory syndrome, SARS. These are the examples for airborne pathogen. Then see insects like bees, wasps, then certain spiders, then snakes. These are also come under biological hazard. Okay. Biological hazard, human blood is biological hazard. Then animal waste, human body matter, microbiological waste, airborne pathogen, and insects. And next is chemical hazard. This is very interesting topic. And see, it depends upon nature of a chemical. These chemicals are categorized into different ways, depend upon its the nature of reaction, depend upon the character of reaction. These chemicals are categorized flammable, then explosives, then corrosive. See, example, some of the chemicals are highly reactive and corrosive. Example, sulfuric acid. And another side, some chemicals are highly radioactive, thorium, uranium, and plutonium. See these examples of chemical hazards. Then flammable and combustible liquid, example petrol and diesel. Then second one is compressed gas, LPG or propane. Third one is explosive, TNT, trinitrotoluene. And organic peroxide. Organic peroxide means this is used in manufacturing of polyesters, means in plastic industry and also used in textile industry. This methyl ethyl ketone peroxides. These are organic peroxides. Then reactive benzoyl peroxide used as a bleaching agent or cleaning agent for the process of cleaning of ores. This is very widely used. Then another one is cancerous causing, carcinogens. Benzene is cancerous causing. Then this is benzene is very widely used in petrochemical industry. And another one is reproductive toxin, that is lead. Then another chemical category is irritant, that is hydrochloric acid used in bleaching. This is also a bleaching agent for in bleaching of different type of ores. Then corrosive sulfuric acid. That sulfuric acid is used for manufacturing different type of chemicals. And last one is radioactive material, uranium, plutonium, thorium, like that. Okay, that means chemical hazards, these are classified into different category based on its characteristics. Flammable, explosive, then irritant, corrosive, radioactive. Okay. Then this is also a frequently asking question for Nabosh and Ayush. What is the hierarchy of control? That the acronym used is ERIC-PD, that is elimination, reduction, isolation, controls, PP, and discipline. The acronym for the first, we take the first letter of, we can see acronym ERIC-PD. This is the hierarchy of control. Then I shall explain to you each and everyone what is elimination. Elimination means, if see in a construction industry, in oil and gas sector or factory or an IT sector or anywhere, as a safety professional, we should have the capacity to identify the hazard. Okay, so that naturally we will identify different kind of hazard. Please remember about iceberg or titanium incident. So we can easily identify hazards, so that if possible, please eliminate the presence of hazard from the workplace or from the work atmosphere. That is the best method. But we cannot eliminate all hazard from workplace in certain extent. If it is possible, okay. See, suppose if we are keeping some radioactive material in the workplace, and the workplace is having the exposure of 1,000 people, and radioactive material plays very close proximity of work area, then okay, then as a safety professional, it is your responsibility to recommend the management to take away or eliminate this hazardous element, hazardous chemical, hazardous element from the close vicinity of the site and place in another safe area. This is elimination of hazard. And second one is reduction. See, I will give you another example. When I worked in an oil and gas sector, uh, there are so many equipments interfaced with the activities, and so we cannot avoid all the equipments, because it is inevitable to carry out that activities. So all those equipments are need fuel, and petrol is used as a fuel there, and so the management need to keep certain volume of petrol inside. We cannot say that eliminate or keep away all the petrol tank from there. We cannot say that. See, if there is no availability of petrol, then almost all the work will stand still. So that, but we can recommend that reduce the oil stockage or petroleum stockage in the site, because petroleum is a hazard, and hazardous substance. So, okay, if you are keeping, if a contractor is keeping certain volume of petrol in the site, okay, keep minimum quantity of. This is the best example for reduction. And the third one is isolation. I had experience in a quarry unit. There, see, another important thing is use of explosive material. Explosive, we cannot avoid explosive material in the quarry process. Because they wanted to break very big boulder units, and so explosives an inevitable chemical for this mining as well as the core unit. So and so advise the management as a safety professional. You recommend the manager, please keep the explosives in a designated area. That also considers isolation. Understand? Then controls. Controls means procedural control. Procedural control means permit system is a very good procedural control. PTW, permit to work. This is applicable for carry out critical activities. See, suppose if a work at height of 15 or 20 work is going on, there are so many workers need to engage in that particular activity, and so prior to commencement of prior to execution of the work, we have to implement a PTW system, and that PTW system, that means it is a very good control measure. That means prior to commencement of the job, check all these, what are the control measures required for carry out that particular activity. And second one, whether all the control measures have been complied with. See, in the further verification, he found that that control measure has been missing in that particular area. Again, we will recommend the execution team to implement that control measure. And so this is control, that means procedural control. PTW system, permit to work system, is a very good example for controls. See, Ayush explained different type of controls, and whenever, see, if you join with us, tentatively we will start Ayush classes the first week of next month. If you are joined with us, if you are wish to join for continuing the Ayush course with ASPER, then we will give you very good examples, very wide examples of controls. And next one is personal protective equipment. I already mentioned that. Then mask, the helmet. Then last one is discipline. Here I will give you another personal example for getting more awareness about discipline. See, one of my projects, actually, the construction work of a bridge was progressing. Construction of a bridge above a river, means active river. And so the construction work has been started, means the footing work of a column already started, and so it must require some deep excavation. And see, at the end of the day, the whole area where the excavated area has been isolated. See, the excavated area has been isolated or separated by means of hard barrier. Install hard barrier there as a protective measure or as a control measure. And again, we posted a signboard, deep excavation signboard, and entry in that deep excavation is strictly banned and prohibited. Provide proper elimination. That means, in short, we provided all control measures. We implemented all control measures. And you know what happened? A mischievous worker, he jumped over the barricades, and finally happened, he sustained injury. That means there happened lack of discipline. This is also a very good example. For these are the hierarchy of control. First one, elimination, means avoid or terminate the hazard. Second one is reduction. C, remember, reduction the reduction the volume of hazard. And third one is isolation, isolate the hazard. And control means procedural control, then personal protective equipment and discipline. These are the hierarchy of controls. And this is also another very interesting session, that is organizational hazard in the place. And this is also, as I explained when, and means the iceberg theory, this is also not visible. These organizational hazards are not visible, but it will make a high impact on work, in workplace. And I'll explain you this organization hazard the workplace, their effect, symptoms, and how to manage them. The examples of organization hazard is aggression and violence in workplace. Second one is physical assault. Third one is verbal abuse. Then harassment. Then threat and intimidation to superior officers. Last one is armed activity. Then reason for violence. This is also a definite cause. Question for Ayush. Reason for violence and aggression. This is conflict and dispute between either between the management and workforce or in between the workers. Conflict or dispute. And next is stress, then financial difficulties, financial issue with the means maybe non-payment or low payment, whatever it may be, then difficult to adjust with co-workers. Then family issue, then harassment, then bullying and harassment, and another one is lack of blame. These are reasons for violence. See, this is also a frequent, you can expect these questions in Ayush and in Avosh as well. Consequence of workplace violence. Even the assessment of IDIP, international diploma, these type of questions are asked. You can expect these questions in everywhere. What are the consequences of workplace violence? This is an unexpected question. Okay, this is as I explained, this is a frequent. You can expect this question for all the health and safety examination. What is the consequence of workplace violence? First one is production loss. Second one is physical and psychological injuries. Third one is increased absenteeism, create fear and apprehension in workforce. That will be impacted in culture of organization and impacted in the reputation of the organization. These are the consequences of workplace violence. Production loss, then physical injury, increase absenteeism, create fear and apprehension in work site. That will adversely affect the culture of organization and subsequently reputation of the organization. Okay. Then these are the corrective measures. How to cover workplace aggression, or what are the preventive action? Establish zero tolerance policy. This is management part. Establish security measures. Provide training and education. Foster and support work culture. Develop crisis response plan. Conduct regular employee survey. Encourage employee assistance. Then review and update policies. This is, of course, management division will handle all these things. And so next we are going another interesting topic, that is confined space. I already mentioned you. Confined space, what is the definition of a confined space? Before that, I'll give you some examples. What are the examples for this confined space? Tank is an example of confined space. Then pit, tunnel, boilers, sewers, shaft, ventilation, ducts, silos. These are the examples of confined space. Then see, look back, what is the definition of confined space? Confined space is a workplace where the ingress and egress is limited, or access is limited. This is not designated for continuous employee occupancy. For example, a tank. Tank is a confined space, and this is not the work in the tank does not designated for the continuous employee occupancy. Okay. Then what are the hazards associated with the confined space? There are different type of hazards. Means primary hazards and secondary hazards. Then toxic chemicals, flammable gas, and oxygen deficiency. These are come under primary hazards. Okay. These the hazard associated with confined space has been categorized or classified into two. The first one is primary hazard, and second one is secondary hazard. Then, presence of toxic chemicals, these come under primary hazard. Toxic chemicals means the presence of lead or presence of sulfur. These are come under toxic chemicals. Then second one is flammable gas, H2S, hydrogen sulfide is flammable gas, then methane, then presence of propane. These are flammable gas. And then the last one is oxygen deficiency. Okay, these are primary hazards. Toxic chemicals, presence of toxic chemicals in confined space, that is so dangerous. Then presence of flammable gas, propane, presence of propane or presence of H2S. Then that's oxygen deficiency means the composition of oxygen in the atmospheric in the atmosphere is 21. The major component of component in the atmospheric air is nitrogen, and so its level is 21%. So both way it is hazardous. If the level of oxygen is going up, that means more than 21% in the atmospheric air, this is hazardous. That means excessive oxygen level. The consequences or the risk associated with the excessive oxygen is bursting of capillaries, and subsequently the man who is engaged with the confined space activity get unconscious, and if the condition is stay there for long period, fatality also we can expect fatality. Similarly, deficiency of oxygen is also very significant. That means level of oxygen is going below 21%. The percentage level of oxygen is going down. That means the first symptom is giddiness, then unconscious, and subsequently that also move for death of that worker or death of a person. Okay, these are primary hazards, and secondary hazard is slip, trip, and fall in a confined space. Then falling object, heat stress, excessive heat or excessive temperature or excessive humid condition, then electric shock, electrocution, then fumes emitted from welding or cutting, then ingress or presence of liquid. See here, I shall show you a very good example. Very recently, means last month, 2 or 3 gentlemen are the victim of fatality happened in Delhi. That is an IAS coaching center in Delhi. They were in a cellar. That means they set their library in a cellar region. See, I already told you the confined cellar is likely to be a confined space, and that confined space or cellar is not supposed to supposed for a long time use, for extensive usage. There that training provider, or that means a civil service training provider, and they set their library in SLR, means underground, and so nearby there was a drainage channel, and due to the excessive pressure inserted in that wall of that library, and the wall got damaged, and heavy ingress of water in that library, and consequently there happened the fatality of uh, 2 or 3 cases. I can't remember right now. I think 2 or 3 cases. There happened to the death of 3 cases there. That is ingress or presence of liquid. And last one is solid material which can glow. Best example is phosphorus. Okay, these are secondary hazards: slip, trip, and fall, falling object, heat stress, electric shock and burns, then fumes, welding or cutting fumes, then presence of liquid or water, then solid material which phosphorus. Okay. Then what are the control measures? This is very important question. What are the control measures in confined space? Entry permit. See, as I explained you, permit to work system. Entry permit, that it is means information, training, instruction, and supervision. Then gas testing. Gas testing means prior to the execution, prior to the deployment of workers, or we have to make sure the presence of flammable or poisonous gas in that confined space. Okay, and next is PPE. Appropriate usage of appropriate PPE. And third one is pre-entry safety meeting. Prior to the deployment of workers, we have to disseminate what are the hazard associated in that confined space, and what are the control measures, what are the hazard and what are its suitable control measures need to be implemented over there. Yep, all the factors related with the confined space, that is the management responsibility to disseminate them. Cascade all information. Understand? That is pre-and safety meeting, communication. That another one is logout, tagout. Then emergency preparedness. I shall explain you what is emergency preparation. Then ventilation, proper ventilation. That means it is that means we are providing chances to eliminate or if the presence of poisonous gas over there. That is ventilation. Okay, these are the control measures for in the confined space. Entry permit, then information training, gas testing, provision of suitable PP, then communication of information regarding different hazards in the or expected hazard in the confined space, and control measures, then emergency preparedness. That emergency preparedness is nothing else, the advanced preparation to encounter in case of an emergency, occurrence of an emergency. Understand? Then what is risk? Risk is, this is a very interesting topic, and see, whenever if you join with us, then we will give you all aspects of risk, means what is exactly what is the risk and how we can measure the risk. That means risk assessment, and the third one is risk elimination. Oh, this is a very wide topic, and here actually the time is restricted to me to explain very much more things about risk. Anyway, risk is likelihood of occurrence of harm and its severity, or it is the product of probability and severity. See, we can categorize the risk, means high risk activity, medium risk, and low level risk. by assessing the situation. I'll give you a small example. That is, see, the aircraft incident or aircraft crashes. And these aircraft incidents are not frequently happening. And when we review the statistics of a country, we can see only 1 or 2 tragedies of aircraft crashes. So that, but within the case of one incident or within 2 incidents, the severity or the loss due to this incident is enormous. We cannot imagine, we cannot calculate the loss incurred due to an aircraft crash. But the frequency is much less, but the severity is too high, so that the aircraft crashes are come under high risk category. At the same time, we take finger cut injuries. See, thousands and thousands of finger cut injuries reporting on daily basis, but the severity is much less. So this is come under low risk category. Okay, and this is residual risk. Residual risk means remaining risk. We cannot eliminate all risk factors, however, we controlled all the risk associated with a particular activity. Certain risk, it has the chances to remain certain risk, and that risk is generally termed as residual risk. Okay, the example is earthquake. See, in almost all the countries, there are giving so many control measures to prevent earthquake or reduce the impact of earthquake. Then advance information, then find out which are the more earthquake prone area, and provide rehabilitation facility. There are so many control measures implement each and every countries to resist or reduce the earthquake impact. Then even then earthquake is happening. Okay, that is residual risk. Then reasonably practicable. This is also a very frequent question asking for different OSH exams. That is, the core concept is weighing a risk against the incident, accident, and money needed to control it. I shall give you a best example. Suppose, see, I already told you about an incident happened from a mysterious gentleman in that bridge construction area. Okay, see, what we have did there, we provided barricade, hard barrier. Means provided hard barrier means of scaffolding components. That is enough to prevent somebody. But see, if as a safety professional, if I am recommending, okay, provide their concrete wall or concrete barrier around all excavated area. That means the cost required for the construction of that concrete barrier will not justify that construction of column beam. Means we want to establish control measures for a short while, so that the recommendation should be always justified with the cost, so the cost required for that or the money required for that. That means the weighing a risk against the incident. But these aircraft crash incidents, we cannot negotiate or we cannot compromise with the control measures for the aircraft operation. Understand? This means all our recommendations should be reasonably practicable. This is very much applicable for safety professionals. This is emergency preparedness. Emergency preparedness, I already told you that this is the advanced preparation or the proactive arrangement to check or encounter the emergency situation. This is the proactive measure. And what are the type of incident that may create an emergency? What are the emergency situation? Natural disaster, earthquake is a natural disaster. This is emergency. And second, breakdown of services. Then vehicle accident. Then fire, explosion, electrocution, breakdown of underground utilities. See, in Delhi, the same thing happened. Breakdown of drainage. The failure of drainage happened in New Delhi. Then chemical spill in BP incident. These are different type of emergencies and depend upon the character or nature of emergencies. Appropriate emergency preparedness or appropriate control measures. What are the control measures need to be planned to encounter or face in that emergency situation? This is the emergency. I will give you a vivid examples and vivid idea about emergency preparedness. And in my next session, definitely, I'll explain you more about emergency. When emergency preparedness, key elements of prevention are its establishment of emergency plan, identification of hazard, compliance with operating and maintenance procedures, then risk analysis. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me wind up this session. I hope you are now very much aware about the different syllabus and different points of OSH management, occupational safety and health management. These are our clients. We are handling different clients. And our clients are spread across the world, and we are providing services, we are providing training, we are providing consulting services, and also research facilities. And so, finally, on behalf of Aspire, you all are welcome, and you please join with us for the forthcoming NEBOSH training session. I'm sorry, IOSH training session. A NEBOSH date we will publish later. And so please come and join in our for IOSH training. Definitely you will get very good training with very good expert trainers will take your session, and they will give you very good examples, and examples means related with the different type of industries or the incidents which happened in different countries, so that you will get a thorough knowledge, thorough subject knowledge about IOSH. And so once again, I'm requesting you to join with us the forthcoming session, and the next month, first week onwards, we will start. And thank you very much for your sincere patience and cooperation with me. Thank you once again.